All right, welcome everybody. So this was going to be a live video, but because we're so far outdoors, the internet connection couldn't be maintained. So what we're going to actually do is just a video and I'll post it. But what we're doing today is we're doing a couple of observations from our Animals in Their Worlds program. These observations are found in this student journal, Habitats, Houses, and Homes. So we're really excited because we get to go out. The observations we'll be doing today, as you can see, is we're collecting samples. So we're going to collect samples from the square that we've chosen. Now, the square, just so you understand, is every season you're going to be studying the same square. So your students pick a square to study, and they're going to document it, observe it, just track it through the whole year, which is really cool, and your whole journal is going to be full of all the different things, the changes you've seen. So we're taking a square that I've chosen. We're going to collect these samples. That's one observation, okay? The next observation, see if the wind allows me to. All right, so the next one is we're going to collect some acorns. Now, there should be some acorns out there, okay? So we're going to collect some acorns. We're actually going to see through dropping them into a glass of water if they flow, what that tells us about insects eating the insides of them, and are they hollow, are they still full? So it's really cool. So let's go to our square and collect some samples, and then we'll do that. Now, what's really cool about being able to do something like this, Charlotte Mason had a huge emphasis on nature walks, and the reason being is that getting kids outdoors is really fun and engaging for them. It engages their mind. It gets them actively learning, actively engaged. So it's a big part of what she believed was important in learning. And you're going to find the principle of active learning and engagement, and even being outdoors, through all of our programs, but especially in the program Animals in Their Worlds, when you're able to actually get outside and study the habitats, the different animals in the habitats, and make those observations. So that's just a principle in WinterPromise you're going to find, that we want active engagement. We want kids engaged in what they're doing, excited about it, having as much fun as possible. And this is like almost as much fun as you could possibly have as you get to go outdoors. And but you're going to especially find that in our Animals in Their Worlds program. So I've chosen a square over here. So we're going to go over there and we're going to collect some samples. Now, some of your kids might be a lot better at this than me. So, now this is our square, all right? This whole thing, you pick exact measurements at the beginning of the year, but for our purposes, we're just taking this area. So, the first thing is leaves from plants. Now, right here, you can see, I'm not sure if this will eventually be a tree, some kind of bush, what it is, but we're going to collect some samples so that when we go inside, or if we were to go inside and have the whole journal put together, we'd be able to actually paste these into the journal, all right? And what it does is, depending on the area you choose, you could have a whole bunch of different kinds of leaves and bushes, and it's just really cool. So you'd bag this, and we're actually, because a lot of these leaves from the winter, over here in the woods are in here, we're gonna do this too, and collect this and put this as well and compare the difference. So we're gonna collect that. All right, I'll set this over here. So now we can take samples of the soil. Now this is something that you can do with some tools. You know, you can get out a little shovel, which I didn't actually bring, so I gotta use some of nature's tools. But I mean, your kids are gonna love doing this. They want to do this anyways, and they get to do this just for their school. And you can look at the dirt here, and then in the winter it may feel and look different. You can take samples deeper down in the ground. You can do all sorts of stuff. So we're going to take a sample of that. Now, the next one is flowers. Now in this area, I'm not seeing a lot of flowers. This kind of woods, I mean, we have a lot of different bushes, so we're not going to worry about that. Now, the next one is bark samples, all right? So I don't really want to take one from a tree that's healthy. So what we're going to do is I'm going to look around for some bark that's on the ground. All right. So here's some bark from a stick, and here's some bark. Do this here. All right. We're going to collect these and put these in a bag. And what's so cool is that all these samples, depending on what they are, you can keep them in your notebook, you can keep them in your homeschool area if you have a dedicated area, and the kids just keep collecting them, and kids love to do that. So, all right, so we got our bark. Now, acorns, nuts, and berries, which is going to roll right into our next observation. So let's go over here. We can go by the trees. go by the tree. Let's see what I can find. All right. So we have one here. We got a few here. Let's see. Oh, we got a few here. I want to just get a small handful because I want to be able to use them in the observation. And let's see here. All right, there's one. There's one. All right, so we got a few in here. And the nice thing is, if your kids are really engaged in this, you could spend a long time doing it. If they're just kind of losing interest and they want to move on to the next one, you can do that. There's all sorts of flexibility and something like this. You just roll with really what your students are really excited about. If they're really excited about looking at different samples than others, that's fine. So you'd go on, you'd look for feathers. You can even look for abandoned nests, which you can look up into the trees for different bird nests, and you can actually study those, which I'm not seeing any, and it would really might take me a while to find them. So we're not gonna get that. So what you do is then, as a parent, you can, after collecting the samples, you can just ask questions. So what did you find? What did you think about this? So if you found only these kind of leaves here, no one in the litter here, don't want to, you know, what kind of, we found these kind of leaves here. Why do you think we didn't find others? Or do you think they're all the same? Or is it, just ask questions and talk about it and write down, record what you're doing, engage with it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our glass of water that we brought with us, and we're gonna drop a few of these in just a few for the sake of time. All right, now, if you wanna zoom in on the page here. So we got a glass of water, and of course it has to be in a mason jar, because that's what you do, all right? So it says you can discover whether or not an acorn has been eaten inside or not. Acorns provide food, and it gives a whole bunch of explanation about just what insects and bugs feed on them for nutrition, how they're used. And then it says, well, what are you going to need for this observation? It tells you right there. Now, if you'll know, it's a glass of water and acorns. Not very difficult to find. And a lot of the observations, especially when you're doing observations outside, a lot of these are going to be easy to get. It's not complicated, but still just as fun. So it says, one by one, drop the acorns into the water. If it floats, it's inside. If its insides have already been eaten. If you open up the acorn, you can find something inside. If it doesn't float, if it drops to the bottom. So let's see here. We have 3 or 4. It's like casting lots a little bit here. Let's see what this one does. Now, can you see that? All right. That floats, so that's been eaten out, which I'm not surprised. Going through the winter. Let's drop another one in. That's floating too. These also might be light enough to float anyways. Ooh, that's got a little more something in it. That's not floating completely to the top, so it's pretty small. So I would bet that there's something in it. And see, that's the type of conversation you can have with your kids. You know, not all the acorns are the same size. So the bigger ones, if they definitely float, it's definitely empty. The ones that kind of drop down, you saw the smaller ones, they kind of plunged down and then slowly came back up. Well, that means the reason they're floating is because they're small, not because they're empty. And you can talk about that. So what you do is you'd write down just what I said. You'd write down right here, and you just observe, what did we learn, what did we read about. It's just a way to narrate back what we've learned. And you've spent 20-30 minutes outside. You know, if you have 1 kid or 4 kids or 6 kids, you get to have fun with them, and you get to build your relationship and your culture around it while also learning directly from nature and the outdoors. It's just really fun. So you're going to find all sorts of observations like this in our Habitats Housing homes, and it's one of our most popular programs. Now, one last thing, and you have to watch this video to get this, okay? We are doing a sale for Memorial Day weekend, all right? And the sale starts now, and it goes through Monday night. So Tuesday at midnight, Monday night it ends. And the code you'll want to use is WP Memorial, okay? And what you get is you're going to get 10% off and free shipping on an order of at least $100. So you get the 10% off plus you get the free shipping. And the shipping can be anywhere from $10 to $20 off. So that's a really good deal. Take advantage of it. If you have any questions about any of our programs, feel free to give us a call. All right, thank you.